This is Hot Mike with Dom Izzo, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Our high school football power hour rolls on. We thank Brian Strand for joining us. Start the hour, bottom of the hour here. We'll shift our attention back over to North Dakota. We know the season begins on Friday for Class A and 9-man schools. For the bigger schools in 2A and 3A, they still got a little bit of time. They open a week from Friday. That's the case for Grand Forks Central. They open up the new year with Bismarck St. Mary's. Back for his 5th year as head coach is Jake Schauer, who's done a great job in turning around that Knights team, of course, off a Dakota Bowl appearance a couple years ago. 7 wins a year ago, and he joins us here. It's great to see you, bud. How you been?
It's been good. You know, the summer just kind of rolls into the school year, and it's kind of just like Groundhog's Day all over again. But it's been good. It's definitely a good position to be in.
You're in that part of fall camp. This is like I call the dog days of it. How is it going now with scrimmage coming with a football game a week from Friday?
Yeah, we scrimmaged last week, and then you have that kind of week where it's just still a little bit different. We've got our guys conditioned and trained enough to where when the season starts and we're prepping for other teams, they know what a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday leading into Friday looks like. Whereas yesterday, the kids were like still kind of on their toes. They're still wondering, are we offensive heavy, defensive heavy? So the practice planning is still a little bit different than it would look if we were to have a game on Friday. But the guys are doing great. We've got a good group of kids this year that's really resilient. They're really, really locked into, understanding that they have a job in front of them and they're going to accomplish that job by doing the little things the right way.
I remember when we talked when you got the job, when you left Thompson to take over, knowing full well the challenge in front of you. This is year 5. Are you right where you thought you'd be in terms of where the program is at, ahead of schedule? Give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I definitely didn't think we'd make a Dakota Bowl a couple of years ago, so that was probably ahead of schedule.
No.
But I think every year you just kind of have to take a step back and realize how far you've come, whether it's, the first step was, getting the numbers where we wanted them to be. And we did that. And then the next step is, how can you kind of retool your weight room while you're doing that? How can we do things more efficiently at practice? How can we do all those little things that build a program? And I think every year we're adapting, we're evolving, and we're tweaking things here or there. But I really like where we're at. They always say a 5-year plan. I like where we're at right now. We've got guys really thinking about football year round, which is good. We want multi-sport athletes. We love our hockey, our basketball, wrestlers, everything else built in there. But we want our guys thinking football at least a little bit all year round, whether you're in a winter sport, spring sport, whatever you're doing. They need to know that this operation never stops. And I think every program in the state's probably trying to think the same way. But it's just how do you stay one step ahead of the competition? And I think we're doing that.
Was it, Jake, simple like word of mouth of getting the numbers up? How did that – obviously success goes a long way to have people come out too, but what were the grassroots to get more guys to come play football at Central?
Yeah, I don't think there was any magic formula to that. First of all, I've got great assistant coaches that really help when we do have an idea, whether it's my idea or someone else's idea. If it's one that we think can benefit our program, we try to do it to the best of our ability. Our youth camp has gotten to the point where we're bringing 100 kids in every year, and we're having fun. We're getting those kids thinking football late in July. That was something that really started getting our name out there, that we're Grand Forks Central, and this is kind of what we hang our hat on. Social media, I don't like going on there all the time, but I mean, it is powerful. If you can promote yourself through things like X and Instagram and Facebook, that's what the kids and their parents typically want to see. They want to see their kids getting recognition for their hard work. So doing those little things, and then other kids see that and they want to be a part of your program. And really, I think the best recruiting tool is your players saying, we're having a good experience. This is fun. We really enjoy and we're proud of being a part of Grand Forks Central football. And that's been the most powerful recruiting tool.
Now, I don't need to bring up things you already know, but you lost 3 all-EDC guys, but you bring your starting quarterback back. How does that temper it? Or I know it's tough. You lost those 3 guys. Can you describe that?
Yeah, those are 3 great players. Like, I'm not going to say they're all at college playing football right now, so they're pretty good.
Yes.
But I really feel like we've got guys that can pretty seamlessly come in and do what they did, if about the same, if not a little better. I would say, Eli Thompson and Brooklyn Bruce, those are 2 guys that what they did was really special as far as, they were mismatches. And then you had Naz Fisher last year who would just run through you and he wasn't going to be stopped. And Naz was a really special runner, but I think we've got guys like Carson Cutterba and Johnny Sherrick who can come in and play running back and do a similar job to how Naz played the position. And as far as Brooklyn, it's going to be a platoon. Brooklyn was a beast. I mean, that kid could go up and for being 5'10", he played like he was 6'4". So to replace him will be a little tougher, but we've got 20 seniors and I feel like all of them play wide receiver. So we've got to have someone kind of rise up there. We've got a lot of older guys that have been in the JV program. They've seen some varsity reps, but a lot of guys with that nice build that they're 6 foot to 6'2", and hopefully they can go up and get the ball. We've got a couple smaller guys that hopefully they can outrun someone and take the top off. But Eli Thompson, an outside backer, luckily for us, when he got hurt 2 years ago, we had a sophomore kind of come in and play under him, and he's back. I think he led our team in tackles last year in Zethan Feldman, so he'll play some nice outside linebacker. Gosh, there's a horde of hockey players there too, and Walkenfuss and Cutterba again, and yeah, just some really nice surprises at the linebacker spot.
How about your QB being back? Tell me about that, of how much comfortability that is during fall camp.
I've got a lot of trust in Brody Ledeke. He's a gamer. We talked about multi-sport athletes. He's a kid who scored a goal in the state championship of hockey. He rose up in the Cushman Classic last year and kind of said, "I'm here. You're not taking me off the field." And then, he's also a baseball player who throws about 90. So, I mean, he's a gamer. We're really lucky to have him. But I think the most important thing he does is he leads. He's able to step on the field. He treats all of his teammates the same. Kids are gravitating towards him. But the other nice thing is that's a really good room for us. We've got Asher Fisher, who won the state javelin as a freshman last year, and he plays quarterback for us, and he's a sophomore. And, he's kind of got that Cole Payton mentality. He likes to run the ball, and he's 6'2", 200 pounds. So Asher's a stud. And then you also have this kid named Jackson Bossert, and he's a sophomore, and he's a junior, but from sophomore to junior year, I don't think I've ever seen a kid improve like that. So really nice depth at the quarterback position. But it's like I said, a lot of that is assistant coaches digging into these kids and really getting the most out of them.
The hot rumor I'm hearing is the Grand Forks schools are moving up to 3A next year. What can you tell me about that?
They don't tell me these things, so I don't know. Some people say it to me. Some people, I'm just like, whatever. They don't. Yeah. I'm not cued in on these meetings, so I'm just going to coach football, and wherever I'm at, we're going to play the team that's in the opposite color.
You feel like the numbers, though, would suit doing that now where you're at?
I think we just need stability. I think back to we went to a state championship 2 years ago. The next year we had a senior class of 6.
Yeah.
That's not good at any level.
No.
So I think we still need to find stability in our program, where it's like some years it's like, okay, we have way too much equipment. We don't have the numbers we need. And some years it's like, holy cow, I got an emergency order or this, that, and the other. So finding stability will be big for us as wherever we're at, single A, double A, triple A, whatever you want us to play. We need to find stability.
To have the success, though, comes with it, I guess, and the numbers are there. You feel like you're closing in on getting there, stability?
Yeah, it's kind of like we talk to our players about every day. I think our program, as far as our individuals, are improving every day. We're trying to, like I said, our operations and everything like that, we're getting better. And a lot of that, too, is just like in Fargo, our youth football is great. The guys we have running our Greater Grand Forks youth football, Paul Strandy, they do a phenomenal job getting these kids excited about football. We just need to find a way to not lose them in middle school. And, I'd be lying if I didn't say that we got to find a way to keep our hockey players playing football. We've got some really good athletes in this town, and a lot of them leave. Hockey's amazing in this town. My kids play, and they do a great job getting those kids hooked early, and we want more multi-sport athletes. The
fact that you got a couple hockey guys, though, that's got to start the train, right? You'd think.
Yeah, we hope so. It's all about kids' mentality.
Right.
I talk about Brody Ledeke. Brody's a hockey player, but he's just as much a football player and a baseball player.
Yeah.
That's what we need to kind of get our kids back to.
I see you have a road trip to Dickinson. At least you're not going to Watford this year. Tell us about that. You got Kindred on the schedule as well, which I'll get to them in a second because that's its own conversation. But what do you make of the games you have laid out, starting with St. Mary's next week?
Yeah, I think St. Mary's is one of the top teams in the West. I mean, you watch the film from last year, they caught some tough breaks here. And that's a tough, it's one of those things where whoever makes the trip, you're probably down a touchdown getting off the bus. But the running back, he's a really cerebral player. His cuts are different. He plays with a different tempo than other players in the state. I would say he's one of the top running backs at any level. When you watch Beckett Price play football, quarterback position will probably be better. Last year, they were kind of dancing between a couple guys. I would guess they'll probably name a starter and stick with him. But the big downfall for us playing St. Mary's week 1 is they have a new coach again.
Yeah,
so
right.
This film is probably not worth anything, but it's up to us coaches to try to figure out a game plan when you don't have any film, So maybe they have some carryover, maybe they don't. We just need to focus on what we do and dictate the tempo of that game. But yeah, you have a lot of tough teams on the schedule. That Dickinson trip it's a different animal.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're getting home and it's 4 a.m, it's like, this is nuts. But it's like I said earlier, if you're on the schedule, we're going to play you. We're going to give you everything we got.
Hey, I'll give you a call because I'll be getting back that time with the Bison trip out west. It's about that. So we can commiserate at least about, what to do when because you got young kids like I mean, they'll be ready to go really quick too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I still remember the last time we made this trip. I think I had to go on the radio the next morning at 8 and then there was a potato bowl parade for UND after, and I was in zombie mode. So, but it's one of those things, an extra cup of coffee, and you just survive the fall. So
my wife, we went to Arizona. The Bison played at 10 o'clock at night, right? I got back the next day, and I was up red eye, and I didn't fall asleep. And my wife said to me, "Boy, you must be tired." And I said, "Why?" She said, "Well, you're not talking." So I'm like, well, yeah, it kind of goes with the territory on
absolutely.
that. Last thing before we go. So Kindred's out there. Obviously, and I know it's not till later in the season, but obviously the guys got to know about that. How do you not necessarily guard about looking ahead, but knowing, hey, they're on the schedule. We're going to have to play them later on down the road.
Yeah, I've got nothing but respect for that program. I played college ball with Coach Bergad. Actually lived with him last year during the Shrine Bowl for a week. And he does things right, and he operates at a level that is, producing. And they're doing a great job with the athletes they have. Coach Starcevic was my defensive coordinator in Thompson. So knowing a lot of those coaches, that when you have Kindred on the schedule, everything needs to be amplified a little bit more. When you're playing athletes like Luke Starcevic, Brooks Bacco, I think the Fielders kid's a great athlete. He killed us last year. He's a stud, and I know they had a good running back last year get hurt, and he only played like 3 games. So their top-end athletes are going to be just as good as anyone's in the state, whether it's a Bismarck High or a Davies, whoever it is. Those 4 big athletes you got to find them. You got to stop them.
It's great to catch up on. I love doing this. Good luck to start the season. I know we'll talk throughout the year. Appreciate the time this morning, okay?
Yeah, thanks, Dom.
Good to see you, bud. There he is. Jake Schauer, head coach at Grand Forks Central. Knights open up a week from Friday, August the 28th, out west against Bismarck St. Mary's. He won't say it, but everything I've heard is trending that the Grand Forks girls are going to be back up in 3A. And there's some challenges. The people at Fargo North were all upset with me about it when it went down a couple of years ago, but that's where they belong. Fargo South belongs there. And if they want to, we talked about this last week with Andy Delabar I forget who was, I think it was on, but we got to, it was Josh Kravachka from Langdon. We got to get the top fixed, and that means getting 3A right. And when that's done, everything else will be filtered to the right water level it's supposed to be at. All right, let's take our final break. We come back, we'll wrap things up, get you ready for Pretty Good Sports Tuesday on tap. We'll do that when Hot Mike wraps up on WDAY Extra right after this.